Hi, and welcome to Yoga with Sarah Trapani. I'm Sarah, and we're working with some fun variations on split, full split, hanumanasana. It's a little challenging, but you can give it a try no matter what level you're at. So for this practice, we're going to need a blanket. The blanket needs to be folded the long rectangular way because we're going to use the blanket to pad our knees. So once you have that ready, let's get started. Let's start in an upright cross-legged seat, sitting really tall. And as you arrive in your seat with nose over navel, start to take a few slow shoulder rolls, waking up your shoulders a little bit, loosening up, breathing. And when the shoulders come down onto the back, take a moment to lean back just a little bit so you feel your lower belly engage slightly. And bring your hands to heart center and take a moment to set your intention for this practice today. What do you want to cultivate here in this time on your mat? I'm going to cultivate patience. If you hear my kids chiming in above, a friend is visiting my daughter, and they're kind of roughhousing, but hopefully the mic won't pick it up too much. Bringing your hands to heart center, and then go ahead and lean back, squeeze your knees in, bring your feet on the ground. And we're taking the feet mat width distance apart, fingertips back behind you, windshield wiper your knees from side to side as you start to loosen up your outer hips and butt. And then when your knees windshield wiper to the right, walk your hands around and you look and you see that your right knee is about in alignment with the hip, and you walk your fingertips around onto the mat, sit up nice and tall, look over your right shoulder. And inhale and exhale, belly in, come around to center, windshield wiper the knees all the way to the left. So that left knee comes right out from the hip. And we wrap the right rib toward the left rib, walk your hands around, look over your left shoulder. Big full inhale into the belly, and exhale, come around back to center, bring your soles of feet together, knees splay open, walk your hands toward your lower back, sit up nice and tall, lift your sitting bones, and then drop the sitting bones down. Take your hands and cup your hands around your toes. Spread your chest. Take a forward fold in this Baddha Konasana. Warming up a little bit. Breathing into the back ribs. And then dropping the tail. Extend out straight through your heels. Flex your feet. Coming into Dandasana, pose of the staff. Take your tented fingers right alongside the hips. Lift up as you drop the shoulders down. Lift the back of the head. Look up. Inhale, and as you exhale, slide your hands down toward your outer feet or your toes if you can, and come into that Paschimottanasana, this deep hamstring opening. And we're going to sit up nice and tall, and then we're going to lean forward. And then sit up nice and tall, just warming up hamstrings, and then lean forward. And then sit up tall. Fingertips behind you, scooch forward so that your heels are as far toward the front of the mat as you can. Now bring your right heel in toward your sitting bone and reach around for the sole of your right foot. Lift your right heel. This is a fine place to stay, or if it's available, lift that right heel up. So we're replicating, even right here, we're starting to replicate a little bit the shape of a split, bringing the forehead toward your right shin, letting the right sitting bone drop down. Now here's a challenge. Draw your belly in and keeping your hand on your foot or your ankle, slowly come down onto your back and continue to draw that entire right leg toward your body. So we're replicating a split here. Feet are flexed. Curl the outer right foot toward your outer hip. Good. Now start to lift your left toes toward the ceiling and get some momentum to rock right back up. And there you go. Shoulders down, lift up, inhale, exhale, bring that right heel in toward the sitting bone, give that foot a press. Let your right knee open to the right. Walk your hands around onto your mat for that pressing of the outer right thigh toward the ground. And we're going to inhale, sit up tall. And then exhale, come around back to center. Right foot on the ground. Extend your right heel out. Take your heels wide so that the heels are in alignment with the outside edges of your mat. Reach forward, Take a pause and folding there, spreading your chest forward, looking down toward your mat. Inner thighs roll toward the floor. As you draw the toes toward you, you're stretching at your calf a little bit, as well as the little inner thigh psoas and hamstring opening, necessary to prepare for more split variations. So we're going to come up to slowly sit. Take your hands under your knees, zip your feet together, and extend your legs out straight. So as we're sitting up tall, bring that left heel in. Take your hands to the sole of your left foot, and then lift your heel. If it's available, lift that left heel up more so the leg starts to straighten. We're plugging that left thigh bone into the hip socket. Both feet are flexed. Right thigh bone's very heavy. You may be able to bring your forehead towards your left shin. Maybe resting it, forehead on the shin. Breathing. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to start to slowly come back. If you can keep your hand right on that foot, it's kind of fun to try, but don't overdo. You could always take your hand onto your ankle and you come back onto your back and draw that entire left leg a little closer as you lengthen the right heel away from your face. Let that area between your shoulder blades rest. When you exhale, let your belly hollow out. That really feels good to release that tension in the belly at the end of the exhale. Nice. Shoulders are relaxed now. Go ahead and lift that right heel and try to get that momentum to swing right up to sit. Inhale and exhale. Bring that left heel down to the floor and let your left knee open out. Left foot on the inner right thigh. We're going to turn and walk your fingertips around onto your mat. Look over that left shoulder. Inhale and then exhale. Come around back to center. Bring that left knee in. Press that left foot on the ground. Extend the left leg all the way out towards straight. Reach for the toes. Fold. Inhale into the back ribs. And then exhale. Slowly come up to sit. Now cross your ankles in front. Roll over your knees. Come into a tabletop position. From this tabletop position, extend your right heel straight back. The right inner thigh will lift. And then we're shifting into the left fingertips a little bit. Right tented fingers, open your right hip and extend your right heel straight out. So we come into a modified half moon. Only if it feels available, you can extend your right fingertips straight up. Lengthen straight through that right heel. Inhale, look up at your right hand. Exhale, release down. Then from here, as you roll your right hip down, lift your left knee and come up into a three-legged dog, stretching that right heel high. Good. Stretching high through that right heel. Now here's a challenge. Walk your hands towards your left foot and extend your right heel straight up into standing split. And you bring your right heel as high up as you can toward the sky as you fold. Hands can be right under the shoulders, or take your left hand behind that calf and bring the forehead toward the shin any degree. It's okay if that right hip opens a little bit out and up and isn't totally square, that's fine. Just don't overdo. And then from there, slowly walk your way into a plank pose. Bring your knees down, shoulders on the back. Take this variation of upward dog. As you inhale, look up. And exhale, coming back to tabletop. Extend your left heel straight out. Come up onto left tented fingers. And then we're coming into that modified half moon. Tone belly. Modified half moon, tone belly. Extend your left fingertips up if that feels available. And look at the hand in the air. Inhale. Exhale, release the left hand down. Roll your left hip down toward the ground. Then lift your right knee and slide that left heel straight up into three-legged dog. Keeping that left hip point down here in three-legged dog. And then start to walk your hands toward your right foot. Keep lifting your left heel as you fold over that right leg. Forehead is melting down toward that right shin any degree. Right hand could come behind the calf for a little more balance challenge. Standing split. Good. Inhale and exhale. Let's walk our way back slowly into a plank. Strong plank. Bring your knees down. Toes are tucked. Take that modified upward dog, stretch into the belly. Gluteal muscles engaged. Inhale. Exhale. Come on back to tabletop now. Go ahead and find your blanket. Place your blanket underneath your knees. And then make sure it's about a little more than halfway down your mat. Come into a table. Now extend your right heel straight back. Lift your left knee. Come up into three-legged dog on the inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your right foot right between your hands. Right knee is over the heel. Touch your left knee down. Look forward, look up so the inner thighs scissor apart. We're going to inhale. And then exhale, scissor the inner thighs in as you send your right hip back. And we'll take this hanumanasana with the right edge of the heel pressing into the mat and that right thigh bone gathering into the hip socket. You may be able to fold. You may find it better to stay upright on your hands and just work with this wherever you are. The left hip is about in alignment with the knee. More challenge would be to walk the hands forward, almost like a downward dog, and take that half split. And then slide forward, right knee over the heel. Inhale, look up. Exhale, slide that right heel. Now spread that right heel straight back and drop that left sitting bone right toward your left heel. Press the palms away. Look toward the belly. Press the palms away from that right heel. Look toward your belly. Lift the belly. Exhale out. And then come back into tabletop. Lift that left heel straight back. Extend the left leg straight. Then lift your right knee and lift the left heel up into three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your left foot through between the hands. Touch your right knee down. Scissor the inner thighs apart. Look forward. Look up. Inhale. Exhale, send the hips back. The right hip is about over the knee joint, maybe slightly beyond. Curl the left toes toward your face. We want to keep a micro bend in that left knee so the knee doesn't lock or hyperextend. Left sitting bone drawing straight back. Maybe you can walk the hands forward and fold. If that's too much, stay upright a little more. Outer left foot peels toward the outer hip. Breathing there, filling the back ribs. Imagine the two sitting bones trying to move in toward each other. And then inhale, slide forward, inner thighs apart. Look forward, look up. And then slide that left leg back. Take your feet flat, come into a child's pose for a moment. Sending the hips toward the heels. Good. Now, tuck your toes, come back to downward dog. Lift your right heel high for three-legged dog. Let's inhale. Exhale, step your right foot through. Now bring your left knee down and start to inch your right foot forward and your left knee back. Keep that back toe tucked. This might be as far as you want to go with that right heel a little forward of the knee. You may be able to start to slide your right heel straight forward, coming more toward the full split. Now for some, you're just going to plop right down, no problem. Some might be pretty lifted. Some might have a yoga block you want to put under your right sitting bone. I'm going to actually lean forward and take the palms right onto the ground and then play with this curling of the right toes toward you, toward your body. The inner thighs are scissoring apart, and we don't have to keep that left hip point super sharply turning toward the floor. That left hip point can actually open a little bit. And then gradually as you stay, you may be able to walk up onto your fingertips and come a little more. That's about as far as I'm going to go. If this is way not accessible, take the half split again. Good. With the back toe tucked, you have a little more muscular control of that back leg, which is a little safer. Now to come out, we're going to come back on the palms again. So you start to access your lower belly strength, and we're going to slide that right heel forward. Good. And then we're going to slide that right heel back on the mat very gradually. so you can bring your right foot on the floor again. And then let's step right back into downward dog and pedal your feet out. If you really had some power you wanted to burn off, you could go through a vinyasa, if that's what your body wants to do, that plank, that chaturanga. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, then just be in downward dog or table. And we're stretch that left heel high. Inhale. Exhale, step the left foot through. Touch your right knee down. We're going to keep the back toes tucked. Now, this side, we'll see how it goes for me. My right quadricep has been a little iffy lately, so we're going to go really moderately. Sometimes your fingertips start to feel like tense. You can give them a little shake. Back toes are going to stay tucked, so I have muscular control of the back leg, and that quadricep supports the knee. Then we're going to start to just inchworm that left foot forward until you can curl the toes toward your face. Now, you might stay there and work with that. You may be able to press that left leg a little more towards straight, and the inner thighs are scissoring apart. Good. And then I'm going to come down right onto my palms and then just kind of look down. The edge of that left heel is pressing into the ground. Both thigh bones are hugging into the hip sockets. And we can breathe there. Breathe there. Keep a little micro bend in that left knee. You may be able to come up onto your fingertips. You may hear kids in the background. It's just my lot in life. And then we're going to come down onto the palms. Good. And then to come out, bring your focus into your core. Lift your core to help you gently slide that left heel forward. It's moving at a real gentle pace until you can slide that left foot back on the ground. Knee is over the heel. Take a moment. And then slide that left leg back. Big toes touch, belly melt between those knees. Take your knees wide. So we're finding that child's pose and breathing there. Good work today. And then we're going to come up into a tabletop just for a moment to swing the legs around. Let's keep the blanket where it is to give some support. Extend your legs out, take your palms behind, take a tap, wag your toes, and then sweep your arms forward and come down onto your back. Shake your hands, draw both knees in, give a little squeeze. Take your arms out to a T, palms facing up, and then let the knees go to the right, let the knees go over and down just for a moment, and turn your gaze to look left. Keep drawing the top of that left thigh away from your face. And then bring the knees back to center. Let the knees go over to the left. Just doing a little express practice today, not lingering super long today. Looking to the right. And then knees back to center. One full happy baby, soles of feet face the sky. Gentle rock. And then lift your head, look toward your tail, curl the knees down toward the floor as you exhale, curl the tail toward the face. Then release the feet, give the feet a little tap. Let your knees knock in, and then rest your hands on your hips for a moment. Sending a lot of love to your hips, sending a lot of love to your legs. Coming back to any intention you had for practice. And then take your time to roll to either side, and we'll make our way up. Coming up to sit. Sit cross-legged. Sit up nice and tall, shoulders down. Sweep the arms overhead on the inhale, reach up. Exhale, gather the hands down through the central channel, and wishing you joy, peace, health, strength, courage, trust on the journey. Thanks for participating in this Express full split practice. I hope you had fun. See you next time.